The Oak Island team has uncovered remarkable artifacts all across the island. With the addition of Lot 5 and the start of probe drilling operations in the garden shaft, the Lagina brothers are more determined than ever. After 6 decades of dreaming about the legendary hidden treasure, they're ready to throw everything they have at solving the mystery. Each new piece of evidence brings them one step closer to fitting the puzzle together. So what exciting discoveries have been made on the island, including on Lot 5? And how are the Lagina brothers using cutting-edge technology and modern science to decode Oak Island's secrets? Let's take a look. Alex and Rick Lagina walk into a tent set up beside the garden shaft to monitor the ongoing probe drilling operation occurring just a few feet away. Inside, Brandon Vanderhoe oversees the effort and updates them on the activity below. Meanwhile, the drilling crew works in the cramped, dimly lit shaft, their flashlights slicing through the darkness as they prepare the equipment. Uncle and nephew watch with eager anticipation, hopeful that this marks the beginning of an important new chapter for the entire Oak Island team. This probe drilling project, conducted by specialists from Dumas Contracting Limited, is intended to search for anything of value just outside the garden shaft structure. The old 80-foot deep shaft is currently being reinforced, and tests have already revealed high trace amounts of gold in the surrounding water. The shaft may even sit only a few feet from a potential treasure chamber connected to the original money pit. Rick hopes this drilling will uncover something meaningful, while Marty believes this is the moment the real treasure hunt truly begins. Alex, Marty's son, has the most questions about the probe drilling process. When he asks how deep the crew is currently working, he learns they are at 50 feet. He recalls that during previous work at this depth, they hit a large void. He brings this up to Brandon to make sure the Dumas team is aware. A flashback shows the earlier discovery, a 10-foot high void located several feet southwest of the garden shaft. Marty suspects this void may indicate an offset chamber, possibly the fabled Money Pit treasure vault rumored to hold Captain Kidd's treasure. It's a theory he's eager to confirm or disprove. Brandon explains that since the reconstruction of the garden shaft has now reached 55 feet, the team will begin manually drilling multiple boreholes. These holes will reach several feet beyond the shaft's wooden lining, in hopes of intersecting the void and determining what lies inside it. Rick wants to learn whether any of their theories line up with what's actually happening underground. He also feels it's essential for the Dumas crew to understand any potential connection between the void and a possible hidden chamber, as it could affect how they approach the drilling. Alex remains optimistic that today's operation will bring clarity. As the Dumas team collects soil samples, placing handfuls of freshly drilled earth into plastic bags, Rick suddenly has an idea. He requests that as the crew cuts through the wooden lining of the garden shaft, they set aside samples of the wood shavings. Each sample, taken from one of the 4 walls, would be labeled and sent for XRF, X-ray fluorescence analysis. Rick explains that because high gold values were detected in the water, the wood might have absorbed trace gold as well, acting like a sponge. Historian Charles Barkhouse joins the group, just as excited as everyone else to witness the progress on the monitor. Keen not to waste any time, Rick quickly says his goodbyes, eager to bring the newly gathered water, soil, and wood samples to Emma Culligan, an archaeologist and metallurgist working at the Oak Island Interpretive Center. The next morning, the entire Oak Island team gathers under an open-air tent near the money pit to examine core samples. Emma arrives with the results from the water, soil, and wood tests that Rick had brought her. Holding up a small wood sample from the original garden shaft lining, she explains that she was able to conduct a detailed map scan on it. The test revealed traces of gold, confirming Rick's theory that the wood had absorbed gold from the surrounding water. This gold-bearing sample came from a depth of 55 feet inside the shaft. Marty asks Emma for confirmation of the accuracy of her testing, and she assures him and the rest of the team that the results are solid. Terry asks whether the gold adhered to the organic material, in this case, the wood, and Emma explains that yes, the wood absorbed gold at a rate of 0.11%. While the number sounds small, Emma notes that this is actually a significant amount, representing a large number of parts per billion. Excited by the findings, the team discusses their next steps. They conclude that they need to continue cross-checking the water against additional samples to confirm and possibly replicate the result. The discovery fuels their determination to push even further in their search for Oak Island's hidden truth. Terry remarks that Emma's ability to detect gold is practically a superpower. Marty is stunned by the latest results, calling them incredible and fantastic. Alex and Emma discuss what a significant discovery this is, and Marty points out how close they might be to the treasure. He believes they now have enough clues to start piecing everything together and form a clearer plan going forward. Rick addresses the team, reminding them that science has always been a crucial part of their search for the long-lost treasure. He emphasizes that they always believed the garden shaft would offer a unique opportunity if they approached it wisely and learned from the missed chances of the past. The group applauds Emma for bringing such promising news. Their determination to find both the truth and the treasure only grows stronger. Continuing with their new mindset of seizing every opportunity, Rick and Alex Lagina, along with their friend Billy Gerhardt, head to Lot 11 near the northern edge of the triangular swamp. Armed with shovels, they carefully walk through thick vegetation. Rick directs Billy on exactly where to dig near an old site, making sure no part of it is damaged by careless excavation. They've come to investigate the buried well that Tom Nolan told them about, hoping it might offer clues to help unravel the centuries-old mystery. Metal detecting expert Gary Drayton is with them, ready to scan every scoop of soil for important artifacts. The last person to dig this well was Fred Nolan, who didn't believe in metal detection, giving Rick hope that something valuable may have been missed. While Billy digs and Gary quickly scans the newly unearthed dirt, Gary's detector suddenly sounds off. Reaching into the pile, he pulls out a rose-head spike. Though covered in dirt, its long hand-forged shape stands out immediately. Gary identifies it as being made before 1795, the year the money pit was discovered. That raises a new question. How might this old spike relate to the well Fred Nolan uncovered more than 40 years ago? The area has been heavily worked by people over the centuries, and Gary wonders if more hidden structures might be nearby, even if their purpose isn't yet clear. As the digging continues, Gary's detector goes off again. Alex rushes over as Gary pulls an object from the dirt, what looks like an old hook. Gary suspects it may have been used to draw water from the well. When Alex examines it, he notes the hand-forged striations along the metal. Gary reminds them of another hook they found earlier on the island, one that blacksmithing expert Carmen Lega dated to the 1600s. It's possible this new hook is from the same era. A flashback shows how Gary and Marty discovered a 17th century hook on Lot 8 earlier that year, just a short distance west of this spot. Soon after, Gary and Billy took that hook to Carmen Lega for analysis. Carmen examines the current hook as well. Intrigued by its unusual shape, Billy comments that it reminds him of a block and tackle device, and Carmen agrees. He explains that the longshank suggests it was meant to hang from such a pulley system, a tool invented by Archimedes around 250 BC to lift heavy loads. Carmen demonstrates how the hook's design would make it easy to attach and detach cargo. Gary asks whether the hook might have been used to lower a bucket into the nearby well. Carmen dismisses that idea, explaining that the hook is too heavy duty. It would have been used for lifting something much heavier than water. He points out that the bottom of the hook shows wear from repeated use. Later period hooks were typically rounder and shorter, but this one's long, narrow form suggests it dates to around 1650 to 1690, over a century before the money pit was discovered in 1795. His conclusion: the hook was designed for moving heavy cargo and is far older than previously suspected. Another flashback recalls an investigation 3 years earlier at the Eye of the Swamp, less than 100 yards from the well, where the team uncovered backfilled organic materials that Dr. Ian Spooner dated to 1680. Could the same people who worked at the Eye of the Swamp also have constructed the well? And could this hook indicate that the well was used to store or hide valuable cargo? According to Carmen Lega, there is no doubt significant activity took place at the well long before the money pit was ever discovered. It appears that the hook had once been used in the well area. Meanwhile, on Lot 5, Jack Begley teams up with metal detection expert Gary Drayton on the western side of the island. Both are determined to make a significant find this year. After acquiring Lot 5, Rick, Marty, and the Oak Island team made some of the most historic discoveries in the treasure hunt's history. Among these finds was a stone structure believed to date back to the same era as the garden shaft, tools that could be more than 400 years old, and even half of a Roman coin dated as far back as 300 BC. With such remarkable discoveries already in hand, Marty Lagina believes that purchasing Lot 5 was undoubtedly one of the smartest decisions the team ever made. Gary Drayton, armed with his metal detector, and Jack Begley, stepson of Craig Tester, walk through the lot, scanning carefully. The detector gives intermittent signals, but ever since they started exploring Lot 5, Gary has been uncovering artifact after artifact, demonstrating both his expertise and the value of investigating this fresh area. The team, often referred to as the Fellowship of the Dig, is thriving more than ever, unearthing some of the oldest artifacts they've encountered on Oak Island. After more than a decade of searching, Marty believes Lot 5 could provide key insights into who built the money pit and what their activities were. Although no definitive conclusions have yet been drawn, the team remains determined to continue digging. Gary systematically tags each area of interest with a purple flag, making it easier to track which spots have been scanned and allowing the team to excavate at their own pace. While digging in one flagged spot, Gary uncovers a large square nail, which he dates to the late 1700s. He carefully bags it for further analysis and moves on to the next promising area. Soon after, he pulls up a circular object made of lead, embedded in hard-packed soil. The artifact is potentially significant, a lead token with ornate scalloped edges. This item may be linked to trade tokens used over 2,000 years ago in ancient Rome. Unlike official currency, these coin-like objects were often created by private entities and crafted from metal or other materials for local trade. Could this lead token be connected to the Roman coin found earlier on Lot 5? If so, who brought these coins and tokens to Oak Island, and why? Excited by the discovery, Gary adds it to the island's database, eager to see what it might reveal. Jack Begley shares that enthusiasm. Unique finds like this often provide new information for the team to examine and piece together the Oak Island puzzle. Jack and Gary quickly take the token to the Interpretive Center to begin testing, meeting with archaeologist Laird Nan, Rick Lagina, and Craig Tester to discuss the discovery. Gary explains the interesting features they noticed. The token has 2 punched holes, a brittle texture, and no markings on its face. Laird confirms that the scalloped edges are intentional and would have required a mold. Gary emphasizes the edge's design, suggesting it could carry meaning, and Laird agrees, preparing to clean the disc before conducting a 24-hour XRF scan. This non-destructive method will reveal the elements that make up the token. Rick believes the artifact is unique and insists on further study to understand it fully. Craig rules out the possibility that it's a button, noting the holes aren't centered properly. They turn to Emma Culligan, both archaeologist and metallurgist, for further insight. Once her extended XRF scan is complete, Emma shares her analysis. Her scan reveals 2 distinct layers, a light layer that is 99.96% lead with trace amounts of copper and iron, and a dark layer containing slightly more iron, copper, and some silicon. Importantly, both layers contain naturally occurring lead, which cannot be produced artificially. This rare quality prompts Emma to perform an additional XRD scan. The initial mineral matches correspond to samples from mines in Iran, though Emma clarifies that a match does not definitively confirm origin, only that it comes from the same geological belt spanning Italy, France, and Spain. Another matching sample points to the Italian coast. Emma concludes that the lead disc likely originated from a region off the coast of Italy, as such lead does not occur naturally in North America. Marty asks about its age, and Emma suggests that the high purity could indicate considerable antiquity, possibly Roman, given its historical association with mines in Sardinia. Could this lead artifact from Lot 5 have come from Italy? If so, might it relate to the Roman coin discovered earlier, supporting theories from researchers like Zena Halpern and Emiliano Sacchetti that the Knights Templar could be connected to the Oak Island mystery. Rick suggests that the ore used to create the lead disc spans southern Europe, tracing a route similar to the path of the Templars, and speculates that the artifact could be connected to them. However, he refrains from fully voicing this theory, recognizing the importance of patience and solid evidence before making any definitive claims. Marty points out that, once again, they've discovered an object that seemingly shouldn't exist on the island. He offers little commentary beyond noting that the shape and design of the item could hold deeper significance to an expert, hinting at insights yet to be uncovered. Rick plans to follow up on this find, while Marty and the team focus on digging further in Lot 5. Meanwhile, the Lager brothers arrive at the money pit area to check on the probe drilling operation within the garden shaft. At their tent near the site, they are joined by Roger Fortin, the Duma contracting supervisor, along with Paul Troutman and Charles Barkhouse. The group discusses the remarkable depth the drill has reached, 93 feet. Having reached what is believed to be the tunnel leading west towards the potential treasure zone, questions arise. Can they locate the structure? And if so, can they access it to see what's inside? Rick knows today is their last chance to work on the garden shaft, as Duma Contracting must pack up, leaving them only a half day to investigate. The men gather around a monitor, observing the drilling. When the drill comes to a halt, the operators struggle to free it from whatever is obstructing it. Above ground, the team speculates about what might be holding it up and discusses possible solutions. They conclude that the drill has hit wood and decide to pull it out to examine what's below before time runs out. Roger instructs his operator, Rodney, to stop drilling, remove the rods, clean out the debris, and bag everything for later analysis. Oak Island is famously elusive, and Marty understands they must work with whatever small clues they can uncover. Rodney reports that the supposed wood was not a substantial object, though he confirms striking wood on the north side. The Duma team explains that while they didn't hit the tunnel directly, they were able to drill beside it. Despite the setback, Rick and Marty remain undeterred. If anything, the Liga brothers are more determined to descend to the bottom of the garden shaft themselves, a dream they never imagined achieving since beginning their explorations over a decade ago. Marty describes the moment as monumental, almost like reliving the fantasy of their childhood. Reflecting on decades of dreaming about this experience, Rick is certain that if anything is to be found in the shaft, it lies directly beneath them. They decide to use a metal detector to probe the final 5 feet concealed by darkness and debris. Rick notes that the coil can be used underwater, allowing them to scan while standing on the shaft's edge. Rodney contacts Gary Drayton, the metal detection expert, to join them in the garden shaft. Marty explains that, with only minutes left, this may finally be their chance to uncover the Oak Island treasure. Gary is thrilled to be the first person to metal detect within the money pit. The heavy detector is carefully lowered into the shaft, and Gary surveys the mud and water beneath him, the medieval-like surroundings adding to the excitement. Rick warns that modern nails used during previous refurbishments could trigger false signals, but Gary demonstrates his CEX-3 detector, capable of distinguishing between different metals and objects. Marty clarifies that they are testing 2 theories. One, that previous treasure hunters may have dropped items at the base of the old shaft, and 2, that they could be on the verge of discovering the treasure itself. After removing a heavy wooden board, they reveal a 2-foot deep hole filled with murky water and muck. Gary assures them that where there's mud, there's often treasure, and begins sweeping the metal detector through the water. Soon, the machine emits beeps, signaling the presence of something significant. Gary explains that the target is non-ferrous, meaning it could be gold, silver, or copper, a promising signal regardless. The team wonders if they've finally detected a clue to the fabled Oak Island treasure, or if the detector is picking up signals from a nearby tunnel running west toward the money blob. The discovery excites the crew. However, their excitement is tempered by the reality that Duma Contracting lacks the permits to extend the shaft further. The Oak Island team is desperate to know what lies beneath, but they cannot risk the project's future or the safety of both teams by attempting to break through without proper authorization. The risk of disturbing something potentially dangerous beneath the ground is too great. Reluctantly, the team exits the cold, muddy garden shaft, frustrated that their efforts for the year have reached their limit. The following day, they gather for the final war room meeting to reflect on their incredible journey, exploring the mysteries of Oak Island together. Rick delivers a heartfelt speech, expressing gratitude to the entire Oak Island crew for approaching the adventure with both seriousness and joy. Marty also thanks everyone for their dedication, and the team shares their goodbyes for the year. They know the next chapter of their search will begin in the spring, poised on the brink of something potentially extraordinary. Though the Oak Island crew may have detected signs of treasure at the bottom of the garden shaft, time has run out to pursue this lead. Still, their commitment to unraveling the island's mystery remains unwavering. The Money Pit has long been the central focus of their search for clues to the legendary treasure. Could they have finally uncovered what they've been seeking all these years? Or is this simply another piece of the puzzle in their ongoing quest? Throughout the island, they have unearthed countless clues: ancient coins, bunk hooks, rosehead spikes, and buried wells, each contributing to the story of Oak Island. The discoveries across the various sites have been nothing short of record-breaking. Now, standing on the edge of a potentially monumental find, they are forced to pause. After more than a decade of careful exploration and preparation, permits and the uncertainties of the unknown prevent them from continuing. Will they ever be able to breach the floor of the garden shaft? Or will whatever lies beneath remain a mystery, lost to time? Share your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Timefold channel and give us a like.